Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we're checking out the brand new plugin from Purified Audio. This is the VU Comp. Purified Audio is back, and this time it's an actual plugin. We've worked with them before, and the Liquid Death Snare, which was more of an instrument to help you level up your snare drum game inside your productions. Now their first true plugin, this is VU Comp. It is a compressor that is based on FET-style compressors. And I say FET-style compressors because it's more than one style. Let's go ahead and dive into the DAW and check this. Okay, so here it is. This is the Purified Audio VU Comp. This probably looks very familiar, but you're kind of looking at these buttons on bottom. We're going to get into that. Like I just said, this is a few different compressors. So just wait. Okay. Controls real fast. Here's your input control. Here's your output control. It's a fixed threshold compressor, just like you would see on the most famous FET-style compressor. So just your input, how much signal is going in, output, how much signal is coming back out. Then underneath here is something that you don't have on the hardware. This is an EQ section for your bottom, so your low end, and your top. Obviously your top end. But then there's this control right here where you can adjust where the EQ is positioned in relation to the compressor. So if you want the EQ before your compressor, just have these set to pre, where they're both up, and now the EQ is going to boost or cut going into the compressor. Don't want that? Maybe you want to make up some signal, switch it to post, and now the EQ section for the top and bottom is after the compression circuit. On the bottom left here is your sidechain high-pass filter. This is the detector circuit of the compressor. If you have a bunch of low-end information that you don't want triggering the compressor, just activate this and the compressor will ignore the low end because the detection circuit is not getting fed all of this extra low end. Then along bottom, on the left-hand side is the THD control. If you want to add some extra saturation that is pretty well famous from these compressors, you can do that here. Or if you just want to reduce how much saturation you're getting, you can go negative as well. I'm going to put this back to about where it was. Oh, let's use the undo and redo buttons up here. I had it at about 2. Then on the bottom right is your mix control. You can do parallel processing right inside this plugin. And again, before we get to these buttons, the quick stuff up on top. Presets. This is where you'll find all of the presets. Auto gain, this is off for what I have going on right now, but you can adjust this so that as you drive your input, the output will automatically come down. Oversampling built right in, undo, redo buttons, A and B buttons, so you can dial in a couple different options and see which one you like better. And then change the user interface and then get additional info as well with the question mark. All right, the important bit. A, D, F, and 3A. If you haven't made the connection already, these are different styles of 1176 compressors. The A blue stripe, which is the very first 1176s that were coming out. The A and Bs were the blue stripes. Then when you got to the C and D revisions, you got the black face of the 1176, and most famously was the D style 1176. So that's why there's the A. There's the D, and then a newer one, which is the F. F is a completely different kind of characteristic, and that's why it's an option in this plugin. Then it goes even further to go into 3A. This is closer to the LA3A. Not exact, but it's definitely way, way closer. And they all have different characteristics. Their attack and release times are all different. The aggression or saturation is different for all of these. And just generally how they sound. So right now I have this on a lead vocal. We can just start going through all the different compression types. By default, I had this at A. Let's take a listen to our lead vocal. Again, we're using the song Pedal Down by Walker Tompkins, link down below if you want to check it out on Spotify. So first things first, let's take a listen to this with the plugin in bypass. Fair warning, this is an extraordinarily dynamic vocal performance. It's going to start really strong, but by the time we get to the midpoint of the line that he's singing, it's going to be nearly inaudible. Take a listen. like I said, extraordinarily dynamic. By the time we got to the end of that line, the background vocals were the lead vocals, and the lead vocal was pretty much gone. But that's just like we talked about in a previous video, that's what compression is for. It's leveling off our vocals so that we can have them sit in the mix as we need to. So let's turn this plugin on. And these are the settings that I dialed in real quick. And with these, we are going to go through the different compression types on bottom. Let's start with A. What we're going to do is we're going to do the vocal in solo. And I'm just going to do this one line that we already know is very dynamic. Okay, we're going to start with our raw vocal, and then we're going to do it with each of the different compression types with no interruptions, so you guys can accurately hear the different characteristics of the different compressor circuits.
She was well line, oh man, 0 to 60, hollering that 6 speed, no time. She was well line, oh man, 0 to 60, hollering that 6 speed, no time. She was well line, oh man, 0 to 60, hollering that 6 speed, no time. She was well line, oh man, 0 to 60, hollering that 6 speed, no time. She was well line, oh man, 0 to 60, hollering that 6 speed, no time.
So 4 very different characteristics and attack and release times because of the different circuitry in the hardware units. Now, you may have noticed with the D version that when we got to the last line, yes, it was louder. We know that because I've increased the output after driving a lot of input. But the last line, which is his most soft line sung, there was hardly any compression happening. All of our heavy compression was happening in the beginning, and we were getting the distinct characteristics of a FET-style compressor, which has been overdriven in all of these. And that's fine, because I actually want a little bit of that saturation. But you can see with the different circuits, we're getting different amounts of compression throughout this performance. So it's a very versatile compressor when we're using it on lead vocals. But this isn't the only place to use it. Let's very quickly run over to something very easy, a snare drum. All right, so what I've done is I've gone over to my snares and I've put them all into a bus. I've soloed the bus and I have the VU Comp on just that bus. So we're only going to be listening to our snare drums. We're going to do the same thing. I'll give you a couple hits through each of the different compression types so you can hear the different characteristics and the different attack and release times. Now, I should also say I've done nothing except put this plugin onto the bus. The input and output haven't been touched. I haven't done any EQ. I've done nothing to the distortion. Okay, we're just listening to the snare drum on its own first, like we did before, and then we'll go through the different circuit and compression types. So with snare drum, it's very fast transients. The compressor, being a FET style compressor, is reacting and it's reacting fast. But you probably heard, or you can always go back and listen again, that the different types do have different characteristics. Especially when I switched from the D version to the F version, I was getting way more saturation and it pushed it forward just a little bit more. And I kind of liked it. F is kind of similar to A in its saturation and characteristics. They're not exactly the same, but they're very similar. And something else I noticed is with the D version, the release time is much slower. The A and F have a pretty quick attack and release time. 3A is kind of in the middle for me, and D is a very kind of slow-ish release time. So there you go. That is the Purified Audio VU Comp. Basically 4 compressors built into one, but with this one plugin, you have so much versatility and you can really dial it in for whatever your source material is. If you want to pick up your copy of the VU Comp, use the link down in the description. That's all for now. If you found anything informative, please like and share the video. To join the community or ask about mixing or lesson information, join the Discord. There's a link down in the description. Also, check out the brand new and revitalized timflansbaum.com if you want to get your songs mixed by me. And if you have a question, ask it in the comments and I'll answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.